Peace and love, and welcome once again to Black Diamond Worldwide Outreach. Today, we're continuing our talk on the imagination and how our brain power works and uses this wonderful faculty to bring us our heart's desire. Today's theme for this motivational message is, I see and know how beautiful I am. So you know that's our affirmation. Put your fist in the air, affirm with me. I see how beautiful I am. I know how beautiful I am. How wonderful. Keep affirming those affirmations. I see how beautiful I am. Every time you go in front of a mirror, I see how beautiful I am. Every time you hear something that says, maybe I'm not so beautiful, maybe, there's something going on. No, I know how beautiful I am. Today, we have to learn how to use our imagination to see beauty in our world. We have to use our imagination to create beauty in our world. Not every time that you get up and you actually look at your world, you're going to see it beautiful, but that's where the imagination comes in. Our imagination is taking us places where we might not necessarily get to or be at in the moment. But once it's in our imaginations, we know that it is possible, it can be real, and life can be something great and wonderful. So create beauty in your home life, in your affairs, the different things that you do, in your finances, in your relationships. Learn how to create the beauty. Learn how to use your faculty of imagination to see the beauty of the world. Today, I want you to remember, don't get confused by the demonstration. Use your imagination to create good. Don't get confused by the demonstration. Don't get confused. You say, and that's the thing with ministers. We try to give you that encouraging word, that encouraging affirmation, that encouraging prayer, because that is what prayer is. When we think about it, prayer is the use of imagination. When you're praying for someone who is sick and not feeling well, you're praying for a new job, you're conditioning your imagination to see something wonderful being expressed in your life, whether your life or the other person. Prayer uses imagination. But we get so confused with the demonstration, with what we see in front of us, that we can't, we can't get to the point where ministers say, see it all as wonderful. The Bible says, count it all as joy. We looking like, okay, that's in that fairyland. But it is for each and every one of us to express, to live, to enjoy, to bring it into reality, taking it from the imagination into the manifestation. Affirm with me, fist in the air. With my imagination, I create a world of goodness. With my imagination, I create a world of greatness. There's so many little tools that people use to help them to get to the next phase in life, to get to the next area that they want to experience in life. Some people do a vision board. If you don't know what a vision board is, it's something that, and you can get regular cardboard from the store and pictures. I remember doing that like in grade school, just taking pictures of just the different things that you want. I remember back in the day, we used to play a game called That's My Car, right? Now, we didn't know it was the drug dealer's car in the neighborhood. We just knew that the man had a fancy car back in the 80s and early 90s when cell phones were just coming out, and he's standing there with what looks like nowadays a computer to his ear. We're like, oh, that's my car. That's I wasn't praying for that type of manifestation, but the visualization, seeing what you want and saying, you know what, I could see myself in that car. I could see myself lounging on them leather seats, It is all about what we see. It's all about the vision. So the vision board is, you can cut it out. Now we can print. We don't have to. I remember tearing up the Times magazines. My parents and my teachers used to be mad at me, But now we can print stuff off the internet. So they have the vision board. Some people have a bucket list. of things that they want to enjoy. And I think all of us should have a bucket list, right? Of the things that we want to enjoy before this expression of ourselves is over. And even that happy place. I remember that there was a movie, I forget what it was, with Jamie Foxx, where he was a cab driver and he had to go to his happy place. So he had a picture of this beautiful tropical scene, and he would, flip down the visor on his cab and just sit back and look at this beautiful scene. So a lot of us have vision boards, bucket lists, happy places, these things that take our imagination to necessarily not where we are at this moment, but where we want to be. Now, when we think about that, we think about the use of our faculty of imagination. We talked about it last week, where we say that imagination is not just for kids. One of my favorite speakers and authors, Glennon Doyle, she says this about imagination. Perhaps imagination is not where we go to escape reality, but perhaps imagination is where we go to create reality. To create reality. We get hints of ourselves through affirmation, through imagination. We get hints of ourselves through imagination, right? And once, my basic rule, have fun with life and don't inflict yourself on other people. So once we start from that basis, and we continue to use our imagination to see the things that we want to experience, the things that we want to express in life, how we want to express those things in life, then we must ask ourselves, have we committed to the idea? Have we committed to our goal? Have we committed to saying, you know what, this thing keeps popping up. This is what I've always wanted to do. I'm going to express it. Are you using that hint that is coming into your imagination to create your good? Have you written it down? Again, we talk about the vision boards. Have you written it down? Have you spoken it out? Have you acted it out? Have you even prayed on it? Have you spoken it out of your mouth, out of your mind, out of your body to create those energies in the world so we can latch on to the different atoms in the world and bring to you your heart's desire? Friends, remember that everything started and starts with imagination. Every time I go over the Verrazano Bridge, for those of you who live in the New York tri-state area, every time I go across any bridge, go through any tunnel, when I look at the different inventions that we have, even the wheel, right? It all starts with imagination. I think about when I cross a bridge or even through a tunnel, right? Somebody in their infinite wisdom, how many years ago, sat down and was probably, I don't know, taking a boat across the river or swimming across. Even the boat is imagination, right? Someone was swimming across that river and was just like, I don't want to do this every time I need to go to Jersey. Let me build something. And then the boats. And then they said, I don't feel like rowing every time I got to go over to Jersey. Let me build a bridge. Let me build this tunnel. It all begins in imagination. Everything is created and sustained in imagination. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare writes, the lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact. The lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact. It all begins with your imagination. So I would challenge you today. What are you using your imagination to envision for yourself? What are you using your imagination to bring richly into your world? Let it be a world of good, a world of joy, a world of beauty, a world that is not just in your imagination, but is in reality as the beautiful world you want to experience. Affirm with me. Come on, get those fists up. I see my life as a beautiful reality. I see my world as a beautiful reality. How wonderful is that affirmation? Now, friends, I want you to remember that conflicts within are caused when imagination and reality are not in harmony. right? That's where the conflict comes from. That's when people get uncomfortable in their worlds, right? People get uncomfortable because they're not seeing manifestation. They're seeing what is going on in their world at the present moment. They're not seeing past their own hand in front of their face, right? They're not seeing how the universe is bringing, how they've spoken their word. They prayed their prayer. They meditated on the energy that they want to experience. Now it's about the manifestation. Now it's about bringing these great realities into the world, but it's about getting from what our imagination is saying and giving to us into bringing it into manifestation, into bringing it into reality. I think about all of my techie people out there, you know what I'm talking about an air-gapped computer. An air-gapped computer is a computer that has never been on the internet, so it cannot be compromised. We need some air-gap consciousness in our lives. We need some air-gap hearts in our life, because I believe that it is from experience. The things we see, last week we talked about the senses, the things our senses pick up from our world now become the realities we face in life. Now become who we are, what we do, what we experience in our life. But it's because of those connections. It's because of our past. It's because of our history. Because we failed before, we think we'll always fail. Because others have failed before, we think that we will fail. Who are we to start that dream? Who are we to start that vision? I'm going to answer that question for you right here and right now. You are a child of God. You are a child of the all-universal force. And again, I keep talking about Iyanla. You can hear me talk about her a lot. But Iyanla says, when people say, who do you think you are? The question is, who do you think you are not? Who do you think you are not? You are a child of God. You are a child of this all-universal force, and that is good enough. That is great enough. So as you think that, get into, and you know, the experiences, like I remember years ago, me and my friends had a party. We had a party one week because I think it was birthdays or something like that. So we had a party one week and we were too lazy to clean up from the first party. And when we came back for the second party, like a week or 2 weeks later, I noticed that there was a bucket full of water because it had rained, it had done all this stuff, the sun was out, this was that, you know. And there was a piece of paper that I remember from the week before, and it was in the bucket of water. And I had seen it the week before, but again, I was lazy. I was young. I was lazy, didn't want to take it up, right? So when we came back for the next party the next week, I noticed that the paper was so soaked in to the water that it was almost undescribable. And you know, you almost forget what was written on the piece of paper. And I thought at that moment, that's us sometimes. Our experience are soaking so deep into our soul, so deep into our spirit, so deep into our consciousness, so deep into our imagination. And sometimes we get lazy. We go, it's just one thing. You know, it's just one thing. It won't go. Next thing you know, it is soaked down in us so much that we are undescribable. We don't see our real self. We forget who we truly are. Always remember to see and know how beautiful you are as a child of the living God. Don't allow your past traumas to cast a shadow of doubt over what the future might hold. Don't allow your childhood traumas, and they are real, let me tell you, they are very, very real. What we learn in our childhood, it comes back sometimes to haunt us. Let's just put it out there. Let's just say the words that are real. Sometimes it comes, and sometimes the mind is so powerful or whatever's going on in there that it just replays and replays and replays and replays. Sometimes we even have to stop talking about it because we know that the people around us are just tired of hearing about it. But it doesn't stop it from going in our mind. It plays in our day-to-day. We could be doing something else and it's playing again and again and again. We can be asleep. It comes in our nightmares. It comes in our dreams again and again and again. But remember that you are responsible for how long you let what hurt you haunt you. You alone are responsible for how long you let what hurt you haunt you. Stop the horror movie. Stop the horror show that you keep reliving in your life. And let me tell you something, it's not easy. But you keep it your affirmations. You look in that mirror. You say how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are. Cast out darkness and be the light of possibility. You have the power to cast out darkness. You have the power to cast out fear. And you have the power to bring in reality into your world. You have the power to bring in possibility in your world. Friends, today I implore you, use your power to bring good into your world. You know, affirmations coming up. Come on, get them fists out as loud as you can. I am God's light of endless possibility. Even louder, I am God's light of endless possibility. Keep affirming these affirmations. This is just for today, but what affirmation are you formulating for whatever you're going through? These affirmations I try to make them as general as possible. You need to make them relative. You need to make them relative for your life, for your existence, for your joy, for your love, for your peace of mind, for your sanity. You know what you're going through. Formulate the affirmation to bring it into perfect manifestation in your world. Remember that imagination is the creative force. Imagination is the creative cause. Always remember that imagination expands the thought. Imagination always expands the thought. Excuse me. I think about this. When we think about, material things versus, this is why I always try to go for spiritual things, because I know that material things can always fade away. But spiritual things, the things of the universe, the things of God are forever. Think about this concept. If I have $1 and you have $1, and I give you my $1 and you give me your $1, we both still have $1. But if I have an idea, and you have an idea, and I tell you my idea, and you tell me your idea, now we both have 2 ideas. So you see how things, the ideas, the words, they're always multiplying. The universe, the energy of the universe is always multiplying these ideas, these things that are substantial, these things that always bring us to our greatest and highest good. Imagination will always create scenarios. But how will you know what will happen if you are not brave enough to do what is needed? How will you know? Listen, I get to that sometimes where, you have these things in imagination. I want to do this. I want to go back to school for this. And then your imagination start playing all the scenarios, and they can be good. They can be bad. It can be for anything. When we have to tell someone something, we have to tell someone something so important, and all of a sudden, here come the scenarios. What could happen? What could not happen? Oh, they may cuss you out. They may hug you. They may, I don't know, and all these scenarios. And then we use those scenarios as real world experiences, but they're not, are they? They are still our imagination just creating these things. How would we know unless we take the plunge? How would we know unless we get the thought out of our mouth, out of our body? How would we know if we don't do it? Nike says, just do it. Just do it. Just say it. Because guess what? Whether you do it, whether you don't do it, whether you say it or you don't say it, your life will still go on. Will you live with that kind of regret? Will you live with that kind of mindset that, oh, I should have said that, or I should have done this, or when the things get out of control, people say, what's the expression? Locking the gate when the horse ran away, Sometimes these experiences run away from us, and then all of a sudden, we realize that we need help. We realize that there are some things that we needed to say, that we needed to do. So imagination will always create experiences, scenarios that may not necessarily be true. How would you know? That thing that you're holding back, how would you know that you're right unless you did it? How would you know you're right unless you put your best foot forward and go towards that thing? Remember to always validate yourself. Congratulate yourself. Listen, you're alive. You're here in this moment, in this time, listening to this video, seeing this video, experiencing life. There is still blood coursing through, going in and out of your heart. You still have another day. You still have another opportunity. That is worth congratulations. That is worth celebration. If no one else validates you in your world, first of all, you don't need anybody else to validate you in your world. You are an expression of God just like they are. And just like they can give their opinion, you can show out in life. You can show out in the things that you create in your life. So I will always encourage you today. To validate yourself, congratulate yourself, celebrate yourself. We all have self-doubt, but here's the thing about self-doubt. Self-doubt is an indication that you need to learn more, that you need to improve more, that there's more information that you need to gather. That's what self-doubt is. We're not too sure about it. When I think about spelling bees when I was in like 5th or 6th grade, right? I would practice all night. I would ask a friend, quiz me on these words because, you're still not sure. But the more you look at the words, the more you study, the more you learn, the more it sinks in. Listen, if we're going to let things soak like that piece of paper, that water in that piece of paper, let it be good things. Let it be joyous things. Let it be things that will propel us to the next and powerful level. So always remember to see good in your world, to validate yourself, to congratulate yourself, to not quit, but celebrate the achievements that you have made so far, and know that you are moving forward into something great and wonderful. Affirm this with me, fist in the air. I validate myself. Come on, loud as you can. Even through this camera, even though it's recorded, you got to do it as loud as you can. Come on. I validate myself. I congratulate myself. I celebrate myself. Go out and buy you something special today. Even if it's something little, even if it's something that you saw at like the supermarket. Right? Go out and celebrate yourself. Give a gift to yourself because God is all universal force has already given you the gift of another day, the gift of life, the gift of beauty. The last point I want to leave with you today is remember to only participate in things which are going to bring you your highest good. Remember to participate in things that are good for your mind. And this we have to talk about because, we talk about dreams, talk about nightmares, things like that, right? When we go to sleep. It is important for us to not go to sleep to news. Listen, I am one to always believe that we as citizens of whatever country, whatever city, whatever town we live in, to be involved in the politics, even though it can be dirty and disgusting, we have to be involved. We have to know what's going on. And gone are the days where, I don't know this candidate. They're all online. We can all do our research to see who's going to be leading our country and our state and our cities. But we have to, after a while, turn those things off, right? They'll always be on that app. They'll always be on your Facebook page. Sometimes I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see something and I'm just like, I don't even have the patience to read this right now. I'm going to go straight to saved and I'm going to read it another day. Sometimes we have to know when to walk away. Right? Sometimes we have to know what we have to do and demand it in order to keep our sanity. Stop watching the news before you go to bed. Stop watching, the horror of the world before you go to bed. Go to bed with something funny. For me, it's the Golden Girls or Living Single. And now I got the Upshaws, right? Because I want something funny. Because when we put those things in our subconscious mind, that's what stays. It's just like, You ever come out of the car, you know, you're driving along, there's multiple songs on the radio, you're driving to work or, you know, wherever you're going, and a song plays on the radio, and you're at your destination, you turn off the car, and then 5 minutes later you're doing something else, and all of a sudden you're singing that song. You're like, all right, I'm singing it. Where have I heard this? And then you think like, oh yeah, that was the last thing that I heard when I got out the car, right? That's what happens when we're going to sleep. The last thing that we hear is playing in our mind constantly. It's seeping into those dreams. It's seeping into those nightmares. So why not bring something good? Why not bring something funny? And look, you don't have to watch the shows that I watch, but find something funny, find something inspirational, find something where you don't have to think too much. Even if the TV ends up watching you, at least you have something good on. At least your subconscious is hearing something good and wonderful. Allow your mind to stay in the good parts of this universe. Fist in the air, affirm with me. My mind stays on good. My mind stays on good. And sometimes we have to not only keep affirming it, but we have to maybe knock our head sometimes like, hello, enough with that negation, enough with the doubt, enough with the fear. I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am wonderful. And because of that, my entire world is beautiful. My entire world is amazing. My entire world is wonderful. Friends, today, keep affirming this for yourself. Keep affirming, seeing that you are beautiful, knowing that you are beautiful and amazing and wonderful. Fist in the air, top of your lungs, affirm with me. I am beautiful. I am amazing. You know, in Hollywood, that's their secret talk. When they watch a preview or something, you always hear them say, oh, you know, when they say, how was it? They go, oh, it was amazing. Now, that could mean amazingly good or amazingly bad. But today, you know what we're talking about. So when we say, I am amazing, we know that we are amazingly good. Keep those fists in the air. Say with me, I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am wonderful. I see this good for me right here and right now. I see this good and I live this good always. Friends, see the beauty in your world. First of all, see the beauty in yourself. See the beauty in the inside, in your soul, in your spirit. Then see the beauty in your body. See the beauty in the people around you that you've allowed into your world. See the beauty of your environment. See the beauty of this world. And when you do, you will always know and see how beautiful you really are. I love you. Be blessed.